Manchester's always offline, but he's already here. I think he's on my friends list, that's probably why.
Probably.
Yeah, anyways.
There's Zero, so it's just...
Here come the stragglers.
It's just Macho.
Yeah, Macho and 2 others, I think.
Yeah, Macho.
Oh. Good evening everyone and welcome along to FRL. We are here for F1 2021 action. It is F1, it is season number 13. It is round 16 of the championship as we take in the Singapore Grand Prix from the Marina Bay Street Circuit. My name is James. I'm going to be taking you through the stream as always on a Tuesday night. And joining me in the commentary box, I feel like we've been around a ring of commentators in the last couple of weeks. Joining me in the commentary box this week, it is Mr. FRL, Charlie. Charlie, how you doing?
I'm feeling good. Feels good to be back in the commentary box after about 2 months, probably, I think. But hopefully, I'm hoping that we see a wet race round here, because it's definitely going to spice things up for F1. And yeah, just hope for a very good race between these guys, as the less drivers it seems, the better these races are actually, to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, it is really disappointing, first and foremost, that we've only got, what, 12 drivers currently in the lobby. Us two being, of course, spectators and commentators, but there's only 12 drivers in, and that will create, I think, it's really disappointing. I know people are busy. They were saying in the Discord earlier on that they're quite busy, which I totally understand, but 12 drivers? When I think the majority of the tiers, I know F3 certainly got a full grid last night, and I know F2 is pretty much getting a full grid tonight. It is very disappointing. It just seems like the top tiers come, the drivers go. Simple as that. Moving on to the standings, though, before I try and say something that I don't want to on stream. Baraka leading the way on 226 points and a fantastic win from him last time out, of course, in Russia. Fastest lap point, however, went to Jensen. He finished 6th, and he's second still in the championship standings on 198 points. By my calculations, that gap between Baraka and Jensen is 28 points coming into tonight, and that means Baraka is more than a race win, plus the fastest lap ahead of Jensen coming into tonight's title battle here in Singapore. Lou in 3rd on 131, drove well last week. Nathan in 4th on 102. Zayla in 5th on 94. Macho in 6th on 75 along with Rocco. Yona in 8th on 65. And then it's Hamalainen in 9th on 60. And Brock in 10th on 51. And Charlie, looking at the standings, Baraka 28 points clear, more than a race advantage ahead. He isn't here though.
Baraka is supposed to be joining, as he did check in with the thumbs up, but clearly he just hasn't got an invite maybe, I'm not quite sure. But don't leave FRL Lou and RL Nathan out, because you still have 208 points to make up with these races after this one.
Yeah, definitely, and but Nathan has just literally clicked on to the same thing. I was just typing in the Discord, so I didn't really hear you that much. But Baraka should be the one that's coming in. We're only waiting on him, I believe, and then we'll be good to go. Hopefully Baraka will be able to jump. Otherwise, Jensen will get a very good run at closing in the terms of the championship standings. And as you said there, I mean, Jensen is, what, 28 points? You didn't rule out Lou or Nathan. Lou is in 3rd on 131 points. I mean, he drove very well. 2nd last week. Nathan retired. Nathan retired last week, but he's still above 100 points so far this season. And he's only done, what, 9, 10, 11 races? Something like that? So it's even more impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive for the amount of races that he's done. But if he keeps on having these good results, then he can definitely get himself into the championship fight with Baraka and Jensen. But Lou, he's been having the good last couple of races, a couple of mistakes though here and there, but if he can keep getting on those podiums and beating Jensen and Baraka, then he can definitely get into that championship fight.
Yeah, definitely. I think, honestly, around a track like Singapore, it is going to open up possibly the championship even more. Baraka is on his way, apparently, so it will be a title fight coming into tonight between both him and Jensen. And it's beginning to look a lot like we're going to get a very similar battle between Hamilton and Verstappen, of course, tied on points going into the final round of the championship in real life. Whether or not we get that in FRL, I don't think we will, but whether or not we get that in FRL remains to be seen. Looking at the constructors as well, Alfa Romeo, once again, having a poor week for the first time in quite a few weeks, having a very poor week indeed. They still lead the championship on 293 points. However, AlphaTauri, 1st and 2nd last time out, 251 points. Hopefully he is there. Hopefully they are going to try and close in once again. They closed in 15 points last time. Red Bull in third on 183, McLaren in fourth on 170, Mercedes in fifth on 143, Alpine in sixth on 140, Haas seventh on 112, Aston Martin eighth on 107, Williams in ninth on 78, and Ferrari in 10th on 49. Alfa Romeo, though, leading the championship by 42 points. Not more than a race wins advantage, because, of course, 25 plus 18 equals 43. So, a point like that will be very good in terms of Alfa Romeo. Can they hold, though, the championship lead coming into tonight in Singapore?
I reckon Alfa Romeo can hold on to it, but again, any team can win the Constructors still at the moment. As concerned it's the teams, there's a lot of points that you can make up with these last races, but Baraka's finally here now, so hopefully we can start getting to the racing. But yeah, I do think that Alfa Romeo will probably win the Constructors, knowing that they have two of the very quick drivers on their team, IFR Jensen and Macho.
Yeah, definitely so, and I think, honestly, Baraka has had to do the majority of the donkey work for the AlphaTauri team. He's leads the championship. He's scored 226 points out of 251 points. So, he hasn't even scored... He basically hasn't scored a race win, is what we can say in terms of points. 25 points is the gap that he hasn't, obviously, picked up in terms of his points, and he's had to do more of the donkey work, while as Jensen and Macho have been quite consistent. Jensen, of course, second in the championship, Macho in sixth in the championship, and they have more of a fair share in terms of the points. 18 minutes worth of qualifying about to begin, though, however, around the Marina Bay Street Circuit, not to be confused, of course, with the Yas Marina Bay Street Circuit that I used to call this circuit. 5 kilometres and then 3.1 mile, the 23 turns awaiting the guys out on track, with the 2 DRS zones, one down the start-finish rate, one down in towards turn 7, and Charlie, this is the track that you know very well, because you won here last night.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my personal favourite tracks, actually, since it's a road circuit, of course. But the areas that will definitely catch people out, I think, it can be the final corner, because if you turn in too much, you're gonna invalidate your lap, and if you go off the track, you can most likely end up going into the barriers or spinning your car around, as the final corner, you can definitely lose your rear quite easily if you take it a bit too quick.
Yeah, definitely so, and I think, honestly, around the outside, coming through turn 23, you lose it there, you're pretty much going to be in the wall, coming through towards the pit lane. So pretty much you're going to lose it there, you're going to overcorrect yourself, and then you're going to lose it there, obviously on the left-hand side of the track. 13 drivers, though, here tonight in FRL F1. If you are looking, by the way, for Ballboy57 and the rest of the gang, FRL F2 is the place to be. We are running, of course, 2 streams live, as we always do, on a Tuesday night. Let's have a look, then, at the 13 drivers. Let's have a look and get all the track map and the telemetry and everything on. Seems like quite interesting, though. Jensen going for a set of mediums. Lou also going for a set of mediums. And speaking of Jensen, he is the first man coming out on track. Of course, second in the championship standings. 198 points for his name. Disappointing, I've got to be honest. 3 podium positions on a row, and then he finished 6th last week in Russia. Can he try and reclaim the form and get back on the podium again?
I mean, knowing Jensen, he can do absolutely anything, since in PSGL last night, he did manage to get the win after not the best qualify session, but he's still got enough points to make up on Baraka. But, just going to say this now, but the strategy for this track is medium hard, so I think we can see a lot of drivers going for those medium tyres, but at the same time, track position is key around here, as it is quite hard to overtake.
Yeah, it is quite hard to overtake, and honestly, how close the barriers actually are. It's a bit like Monaco in a way, obviously, where obviously you don't drive in nighttime in Monaco, but how close the barriers actually are, it will really push the drivers to their absolute limit. Jensen coming through the Singapore sling and on the run towards the Anderson Bridge, and the Anderson Bridge I was actually looking at got reprofiled in 2015. This was initially a little bit of a left-right, but now it's a left-right-left going in towards the hairpin of turn 13, and then on the run down in towards the right-hander of turn 14. So Jensen, the first man out on track. His teammate Macho is in behind as well. He looks like he's on a set of soft compound tyres possibly on there, and yes, it is. The graphics are not lying, which is good to see. Coming in the comment section as well, Harman saying Mercedes for the championship, and CPI Nathan supporting his fellow Nathan. Good luck, Nathan, tonight from the CPI Nathan. It's very confusing with the Nathans, but Jensen, is the first man out on track, and he's about to start us off on a lap, so let's ride on board with him then, as he now comes through the right-hander of 20, through the left-hander of 21, underneath the underpass, as we now come through the left-hander of 22 and 23, as we now come across the line to start on board a lap here in FRL F1 with IFR Jensen. He's got a car to the left-hand side, it's a McLaren of Rocco coming out of the pit lane to the left-hand side of him, and Jensen already invalidates coming through turn 1. I knew that wouldn't take that long. Macho, however, is on the run down in towards turn 1 as well. Does he keep it clean? Yes.
I reckon Jensen will give Macho the toe here since he's invalidated his lap.
Oh, and Macho spun!
I've changed it for Macho. To be honest, those first few corners can catch you out as well, especially turn 1 to 2 invalidate quite easily. But not the best start for the Alfa Romeos, considering they've not had the best of races already. But the next driver on the lap, I think, is Bono.
Bono, I think, is on a lap, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Mentos is the furthest on. He's coming through the right-hander of turn 8, and then into the left-hander of turn 9. And this track really does. There's not a lot of elevation change, and Mentos now loses it, coming through turn 9, through the left-hander. Bono is in behind him now. We're not really getting our luck on this first lap, to be honest. Bono on the run down in towards the Anderson Bridge, coming across the right-hander of turn 12, then through the left-hander of 13, and then in toward the left-hander. Now this is the left-hander of 13. I'm miscounting in my head. Bono coming through turn 13, really fighting the car aggressively, and now on the run in towards turn 14. Bono on a good lap at this point, 103.7 through the middle sector. He is quickest of everyone in the middle sector as well. So now the Aston Martin reaches in towards 7th gear, down in towards 4th, and then through 3rd, and now in toward the left-hander of 17. PK corner, crash gate, Renault gate, whatever you like to call it, coming through 17, then through 18, and then through the right-hander of turn 19. Rocco getting off the way to the right-hand side. Bono really fighting the car, though, coming on this lap through turn 20 and 21, and then into the final 2 corners of 22 and 23. That is finally a more exclusive lap of the Singapore Grand Prix. 36.3 to start off the night for Bono. We eventually got there.
It's not the quickest lap to start off with, but there we go. There's Lou with the fast lap on the mediums as well, so that's actually a quite good lap on the mediums. Who's the next one to come around? Smalley's the next one, but he's invalidated his lap as well. And I think Mentos... Wait, Mentos actually invalidated his lap. Oh no, yeah, 'cause he spun.
Yeah, he spun. I think he got this next lap invalidated, so that's probably why he's invalidated. Just seen, by the way, Rocco and Nathan are trying on a set of inters. But
now, I have seen this before.
Yeah.
I've seen this before where, if for some reason, I don't know why, but drivers decide to do a lap on the inters to save a set of tyres for some reason, which isn't a bad idea, but it's quite a waste of time in my opinion. But of course, you can get a lap in as long as you just don't invalidate it or anything.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think this is quite good, what they're doing. Both Rocco and Nathan, they've seen what happens around here. I've covered TTML before, and I've seen many drivers, like Recon, for example, do a lap on a set of inters. Obviously, you're going to have to get out of the way of everyone who's going to be on a dry compound tyre. But Rocco and Nathan, both on a set of inters, and it's because, really, the track is so high in terms of the tyre wear. It's something like 6-7% a lap around here, and these guys, of course, struggling on that set of inters, but they're keeping a dry set of tyres, which I'm assuming will be towards the end of the race, of course. Jensen, though, goes quickest, 35.6 on a set of mediums, and he's actually the first man to set multiple laps on that set of medium compound tyres, so he goes quickest with a 35.6. Lou in second, and Bono in third. Nobody on laps yet, because Mentos is invalidated, Harmon's invalidated again. Rocco and Nathan are only on laps, but they're going to be very slow indeed. Kaya, I think, is also on a lap, but everyone seems to be invalidated, which I'm guessing is not really a surprise.
It's not that big of a surprise, considering that the track limits on this track is definitely quite hard, because if you want to have one of the quickest of laps, you definitely need to master the first sector, as that's probably where you're going to gain most of your times against all of the other drivers. But we actually have a yellow flag in sector 2, and I think that's Jensen, but he might just be out of fuel, and I think he is. Yep. He has got the fuel signal on. But yeah, not really a lot. Only 5 drivers though have set a lap, 2 of them on the inters. But that's already, I think, even if someone does a lap on the softs, I don't think that they can beat Jensen unless it's Baraka. And before you talk, we need to actually we forgot to do our prediction.
predictions for me, I mean, looking at how the session is progressing, there's not going to be many drivers setting a lap time, but I'm going to go Jensen for top, Baraka second, and I'm going to go Macho for third, who I'm just about to start up on a lap with.
I'm going to go with Baraka first, Jensen second, well, Macho's just invalidated, and third FRL Lou.
Not a bad top three, to be honest. I mean, Lou's there in second on his own accord, 36.1, and he's only 0.5 of a second off Jensen. I say only 0.5, 0.5 around the track like this. It's pretty much a big chasm in terms of a gap. Bono there in third on a set of soft compound tyres. Nathan has retired at the session. Oh, no, he's crashed actually. He was with Rocco.
I just caught that. He was getting out of the way. He was getting out of the way of Rocco, and he just turned a bit to the right, and somehow that crashed out his old car, where he barely even tapped the wheel.
Now, what happens here? Because he's on a set of intermediate condition, what about if these guys do not set a lap time? Will Nathan start fifth on a set of inters?
He could, so if you do a lap on the inters or wets, you can start on any tire you want.
Yeah. Which I think, for Nathan, is a saving grace, because obviously the F1 rules obviously have been updated to do that. I know in the past, I think, in F1, where obviously, well, no, in this game, certainly, it might start you on a set of intermediate condition tyres, but Macho on a lap. Mentos is behind him, actually, out on track, coming through turn 14. He's invalid at the minute, but he is on an outlap. Kaya, Lou, Bono also out on outlaps as well. I think Bono might be the furthest on, coming through the final couple of corners. And on a set of soft compound tyres, 36.3. He's got to improve big time, I think, to try and line up to Jensen.
You never know, he might have had a few mistakes, because of course there was quite a few spins ahead of him, and Smalley's actually left the session. I don't know if that's a disconnection or not. But of course, Bono did have some drivers ahead of him spin, so you never know. That might have just caught him out a little bit, but let's just see if he can improve on his lap there.
Yeah, possibly so. Very neat coming through turns 1, 2 and 3. Now coming towards the right-hander of turn 4. Or turn 5. Is this turn 4, turn 5? Let me have a look at my track map. That's turn 5. Now on the run down and through the kink of turn 6. And then down towards Memorial Corner at turn number 7. Bono through the end of the first sector. 600's up. 26.5 through the first sector. Looking good through turn 7. And now through the right-hander now of turn 8. And then in toward the left-hander of turn 9. Looking good so far on this lap, as now he flies down in towards the Singapore Sling. And the Singapore Sling, of course, used to be a chicane. It used to be counted as 3 corners. It's not. It's only the one left-hander now, as we now come through turn 11, then through the turn 12 complex, and then across the Anderson Bridge in towards the hairpin of turn 13. Looking very neat on this lap is the Dutchman of Bono. Smalley, by the way, saying he got disconnected from the session. Hopefully be able to rejoin. Bono, 103.7. He's only improving by a minimal margin, 300ths of a second up. Coming through the middle sector, now into the final sector, and in towards 16 and 17. Through the right-hander of 16, and then through the left-hander of 17. Really fighting the car aggressively, nearly slashed it into the wall, smashed it, I should say, into the wall, not slashed it. Coming through 18 and 19, and then through the right-hander of turn 20. And this is looking good, but again, he just over-rotates the car. Looks a very unstable setup. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back in the pit lane. And he does, and Macho goes quickest by 6/10.
That's a good lap there by Macho, and he's actually completely cut the first couple of corners there, which I don't know if is allowed, but I guess that he's just done that. But Mentos actually goes P3 for Ferrari, which is a good qualifying from him. And Bono's actually left the session. I don't know if he's disconnected as well, but I think he might have. As Lou spun on his lap, I think, because he slows down a little bit. But Macho, pretty impressive by him, knowing the races that he's been having. So hopefully he can make it happen this race.
Hopefully he can. Baraka, by the way, is now on a lap as well, and he is coming through turn 5, the right-hander of 5. I think Jensen is also out there on a lap, if I'm not mistaken. He's to the end of the first sector, purple in the first sector, it says. So we'll run about with Jensen, we'll compare that to Baraka in behind. He's on a set of medium compound tyres, as not per the graphic. Jensen, though, now on a lap, coming through turn 9, and then down toward the left-hander, of course, of the Singapore Sling at turn 10. With 6 minutes to go in the session, Macho out on top, Jensen second, Mentos in third. Not many lap times being set. Jensen nearly runs over the curb at turn 11, really on the limit as he now comes through turn 12, across the Anderson Bridge and in towards turn 13, the hairpin. Very nicely done. He's got, I think, a Ferrari ahead of him, and that is Mentos just actually ahead of him, who was backed off on his lap. But Jensen is 6/10 up on this lap. He really needs to find something in the final sector to try and outgun his teammate. Otherwise, it's going to be an Alfa Romeo 1-2 nonetheless. Jensen in towards 16, and then in towards 17. Gets a little bit squirrely, I've got to say, out of 16, and loses the power and loses the impetus on this lap as now comes through 18 and 19, and then in towards turn 20 and 21. Macho though out on top, Jensen in second, but is Jensen now going to put it on a provisional pole? Really close to the wall through 21. He's back into the pit lane. Wasn't happy.
Maybe he wants to stay on the mediums.
Possibly so. I think, yeah, mediums might be the way to go. He obviously felt that, obviously on a set of soft compound tyre, he was looking quite quick. But second, 35.6. Kaya, 35.9, went into third as well. Baraka, however, on a lap. He's around the final couple of corners through 22 and 23. Yeah, he has backed off and he comes across the line to set a bank lap. I think this will be his lap, though.
Yeah.
I try and roll them through.
Yeah.
Go on.
You go on.
Yeah, I was going to say through turn 3 and turn 4, and Baraka's looking quite good. He's now on a lap, coming through the right-hander of turn 5. And remember, Jensen's lap time through the first sector was a 26.4. So, Baraka, coming through the end of the first sector, is 26.4. 2/10 up from Baraka, and looking quite confident on this lap so far. I think he must have backed off in the final sector. Jensen is sending an invite, by the way, to Smalley, which I can report, and Baraka now coming through the final couple of corners in this middle sector, really close to the wall, coming out of turn 9, and then down in toward the left-hander of turn 10, through the Singapore Sling. Lovely camera angles, we fly through there now. Back on board as we come across the Anderson Bridge with Baraka, the Spaniard, out in 8th position at the minute. Bono's ahead of him by a good 10 seconds nearly, but Baraka now on a much improved lap as the Spaniard comes through the end of the middle sector, and this is quick. 103.2 through the middle sector. Needs to be really sub 103 through there if he's got to try and match Macho's lap time, but Baraka is on a good lap through 16, through the left-hander of turn 17. Smalley, it looks like, can't rejoin back. We might have to restart the lobby if we do, but I would argue that we do qualifying and then just restart the lobby from there. It would be much fairer, I think. But Baraka now in toward the final couple of corners. He's not going to be as quick, I think, as Macho, coming around the final corner on the run to the line. And he isn't as quick as Macho, and he goes second, 4/10 off him. Macho out on top, Baraka in second, but Baraka clean out of the medium runners. Zero, by the way, set the same lap time as Jensen.
Yeah, I was gonna say during Baraka's lap that Zero actually went P2 on the mediums, but of course now he's P3. But I was very shocked with the lap that he had, but Baraka's just blown me away with that one. But of course, it's Baraka, so it should be what I should be expecting. But I think Lou's on a lap of the softs now, and he is.
He is on a lap of the softs, and he's coming through the right-hander of turn 6, through the kink of 6, then in towards turn 7. He's off Baraka's lap time through the first sector, 26.5 through the first sector, so he's a 10th up on his own time, but Baraka was a 10th up on his time. Out on track. So Lou now coming through turn 9, in towards turn 10. There's a Red Bull round in the middle sector. I think that's Yona that has spun across the Anderson Bridge. Luckily for Lou, he's going to get out of the way, and he's going to get possibly a toe down in towards turn 14 if Yona waits up for him. But now Lou in towards the left-hander of 13. And he is going to get a famed toe off Yona. Jonas, the left-hand side, is not giving him a toe. He doesn't even care about giving him a toe. Lou through the end of the middle sector, though, 103.2. Much more in terms of making the time back up in the middle sector from Lou. 36.1 is his lap time. I think he's going to go ahead of Zero. I don't think he's going to go ahead of Baraka as he invalidates as soon as I say that.
You jinxed it. Commentator's curse.
Commentator's curse. I will accept that one. I will accept that commentator's curse.
I mean, I done the same thing with Mentos, I believe it was, and Jensen.
Harmon actually on a lap. Smalley's left the session again, so not sure if there's a disconnection. Mind you, I went on F1 and it took me an absolute age to get on F1 tonight. I don't know why it happened, but Harmon on a good lap here, a 103 I think it was through the middle sector, 103.1 through the middle sector from Harmon, now through 21. He is on fire on this lap, and now Harmon around the final corner, and invalidates, coming to the left-hander. It was looking so good, he could have gone second.
You need to stop jinxing all of these.
I'll just shut up for the rest of the session. How about that? Macho Man on top, Baraka in second, Zero in third. Rocco, I think, is now on a lap on a set of medium compounded tyres as well. Yona is also out there on a lap. Smalley has managed to rejoin the session again. If you can get an invite to Bono, by the way, that'd be good. Lou is in the pit lane. He's retired in the pits.
Oh. So Lou could start on the mediums, actually, but Macho...
Where did that come from?
Pole here? Can he have pole?
I didn't even...
It's only a few seconds.
I didn't even see he was on a lap. Macho, 134.6.
But Jensen's on one as well now.
Yeah, he is. He's on a set of soft compounded tyres. Rocco is up on his time, obviously, through the first sector. Now coming to the left-hander of 13, runs massively wide. Coming through turn 13, gets the run on the apex. Yona is in behind him as well on lap, so we'll go to them two first, and then we'll cut back on board with Macho. Baraka is retired in the pit lane as well, so he obviously feels that the set of mediums will probably be the better tyre to start on, and he might be right. Rocco was purple in the middle sector. Not sure if that's on his own time or if that's just in general. Zero is now retired in the pit lane as well, but now Rocco in toward the left-hander of 18, now through the right-hander of 19, and now coming under the underpass where the Singapore Eye is, through 20, through 21, and Rocco on a good lap here. I think he could go third possibly with this lap. Rocco around the final corner, on the run to the line, and we're not even close. He was fifth in the end.
It's still a good position for the mediums though.
I think Yona invalidated, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Jensen, through the middle sector, 5/10 up. So, Jensen has got to respond by a good 3/4 of a second to try and get this on pole position. Otherwise, he's going to be in second and behind his teammate. Macho out on top, though, 34.6. It's only really Jensen. I think that matters. Kaya, I think, is also on a lap in behind. But Jensen now through 20, through 21, through the left-hander, really close to the wall. Nearly snatches it on the exit as now comes through the final corner. Is he going to get pole? Jensen to the line. He does. 34.5. Wow, what a final sector that was. And he puts it right to Macho. 34.5, Macho on a 34.6. Nobody, I don't think, is improving. Kaya's 2/10 up. He's coming around the final corner. Could he try and snatch it? He won't. He goes third in the end, though. Good lap by Kaya. That, however, is the end of qualifying. Jensen out on top, Macho in second. Jensen really does like to leave it late, doesn't he?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think Baraka, Zero, and Rocco have made the right call. Here's the other thing. Nathan, P10 on the enter, so he gets to start on any tyre he wants.
He does get to start on any tyre he wants, and obviously Rocco there went on to a set of mediums and he went P6, 35.7 from his lap time, but an Alfa Romeo 1-2. Only one AlphaTauri, and that's Baraka, and he's down in fourth position, so the Alfa Romeos on their way, possibly, to extending the championship lead in terms of the constructors. But Jensen out on top, Macho in second, Kyra in third. Jesse, by the way, who I think is an F3 or F4 driver, if I'm not mistaken.
F3.
Yeah, he is F3. Softs will die, is literally his comment, and I totally agree.
He is correct, because after just the fourth lap last night in F3, I was on the mediums, of course, everyone else ahead of me on the softs, and just by looking at Edzak, I easily got past him on the fifth lap, because his tyres were just done by lap 5. So, for the drivers that are starting on softs, not the best call, to be honest. The drivers that will be on mediums or hards, they've made the perfect call.
Yeah, they have made the perfect call, and I think, honestly, mediums will be better than softs. It's as simple as that. It's very high tyre wear on a set of softs anyways, and if they go end of the race, it's probably only going to be, what, I would say about 7 laps, maybe, on a stint right at the end of the race for the set of medium runners. Who knows? But Jensen out on top, Macho in second, Kyra in third, Baraka in fourth, championship protagonist in second, is on pole. Baraka, championship leader, down in fourth. Zero in fifth. Rocco in sixth. Mentos in seventh. Lou in eighth. Bono in ninth. Nathan there down in top 10. Yona in 11th. The only other man to set a lap time. Smalley and Harmon didn't even get lap time set. Smalley, though, is having real problems to try and get into the session. All he can see, apparently, is his car, but he can't take spectate mode, which is quite weird. I know that's a glitch from the Jeddah patch.
What he can do, because this happened in OTL last week, he can leave the session like he's just done now, and once the formation lap is finished, he can rejoin in the race as long as he doesn't get glitched or anything, and continue racing, unless, of course, he runs into any other problems. If he has a problem, who knows if we'll have a restart or not. But Lou, don't forget, is actually on the mediums as well.
Yeah, Lou is on a set of mediums. He's down there in 8th position, 1.6 seconds off the pace, but a very sparse grid. I'm just going to take a photo, by the way, in case we have to reset up the grid. And that is done, so I've got that. And it looks like there's no 30-second countdown coming up on our end, so I don't know who's going to be readying up. If drivers are readying up, I don't know if they can see what we can see. I don't know what's going on, to be honest, but hopefully a 30-second countdown will begin. Smalley has managed to rejoin the session. If not, then this lobby is glitched, and I will just set up a new one.
Here's the thing, I don't know if it's been fixed or not. And it turns out there's always Baraka.
Yeah. Baraka's glitched apparently. He's still loading.
That's not good for his championship.
Not good for the championship, possibly not good for the lobby either. But hopefully Baraka does leave and they're seeing something different to what we are, I think. It's glitched.
Yeah, I think Smalley might have caused the glitch because of course we can't even see anything.
It's glitched, so I think what we're going to do is, because I can't even press start to leave the session, what we're going to do is, in the stream here, we're going to have a part 2 up very soon indeed. We're going to get a new lobby set up in that time, and then when that new lobby is set up and we're about to go, I will restart the stream. So, until then, thank you so much for watching, and until part 2, goodbye.